Okay, now we're going to look at your guys' critiques. This way I can split all the videos up and it's easier for you guys to look at. What? Voron, that's amazing. Okay, so we've got this awesome thing here. It's even animated, a GIF. Oh, glorious. Moss looks pretty good. Gonna get the I need Discord. Where are you at? There you are. So Hangover Guy made this material. Looks really good. The edge highlights I feel like might still be a little sharp. I think they could be that sharp, maybe just not as bright. If that makes sense. Read my description and work in progress later. Alright, Reese. Sounds good. So the edge highlights on here, maybe just toning them down a little bit and then getting some color variation between the stones. This stuff here, oh, I gotta get Epic Pen. Epic Pen. I always end up going to Photoshop, but I'm gonna try Epic Pen again. These breakup patterns here, these are super cool. Really like these. Because they tell me that they're different stones placed at different times from different areas, right? Same stone type, just placed. Not like, yeah. So wait, so this is sculpted? Hang on. This kind of looks like substance. Okay, but we're just checking out what floor, blah, 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 blah. It is a sculpt. Oh, I love you. Keeping it real. All right, correction. This is a sculpt. How are you placing the stones? Tone down the highlights. I should make sure to read your guys' messages instead of just going to the picture. But yeah, Voron's right. Just lowering the edge highlight brightness would be good. Maybe making some of them a bit broader but light would be pretty interesting. He's an OG. He's an original gangster. But yeah, this stuff is cool. Really like the breakup. And then having these ones that are lower that are completely covered in moss. This guy here. It's good. Why is it breathing? What? Pretty solid though. Looks like it's breathing to you. That's interesting. All right, next up we've got I never know how to say this name. Elkanah? Elkanah? Maybe? Elkanah, this is a bit of an older image. I know there's a more up-to-date one. But he's actually using Fusion 360, and I believe this is the first time he's used it. And from the looks of it, breathing intensifies. Wouldn't that be tricky to walk on? Dude, there's some tricky things to walk on. My stomach is going crazy. What's happening? The only comment I had made about this is the text felt strangely large. And apparently it is strangely large. So there's that. Oh, geez. Like based off the concept art, the text is actually smaller. So if I can find the updated image. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Dang, son. Maybe I need to drink some tea. What's happening? Anyways, we'll get to that one. I need to make sure to get through all these. There's a lot of stuff in here. So we've got Corey working on a sewer scene. Where are we at here? Make sure that so you've got modular parts now. Make sure that geez, I'm gonna keep clicking that. Make sure that where they meet is the same location that they meet in UVs. So where this point ends meets in UV space in Maya, right? Meets at the same space as the other side. So the end here needs to be here as well. So it's like tiling in the UV. Corey in the house. The other thing, let's see here, what else can we do? I would take, so you have a brick height here, and the brick height here is different. Make sure that you're snapping your wall pieces to this surface, the same height. And then with these large shapes, it's best to break up is anywhere you can. So maybe, let's see, maybe taking this bottom edge of bricks and extruding them out. So like if this is a side view, here's your wall. Extruding it out like this, maybe even beveling that once, so that just so you have like a lip along the edge. If you do stuff like that, it gives you visual breakup, and then it also gives you the opportunity to maybe like add a pipe or three or wires or something that run across the wall and go around the corner, or run across the wall halfway and then go up into like maybe a cut opening into the ceiling, this ceiling piece. Something like that. That way you can do brackets, and it just gives you stuff to break up your space. Because that's the number one thing with large spaces like this, is you want to help break those up. The other thing that with wires like this, it's a good way to break up tiling. So if like your wall brick texture is tiling a lot, you can do that. It looks like there's a seam here, and I think what you should be doing is it looks like your modular piece is maybe like this big, and then maybe a corner piece that goes around the corner. You should make these the extent of the wall. So like this should go up like this. Oops. Ugh. Like this. That way you can maybe do another top edge up here. And that top edge is part of this piece, which is like that. Let's see. I hope I'm doing this right. Guessing based on like what I'm seeing. Nice. Prevalent. Give it some love, because you'll be using it a lot here. That, dude, your text is confusing me so much. It's good though. It's good. Being set up this way allows you to do that edge that I was talking about at the bottom with my great drawing skills. And then where this seam is, maybe that's where you have like this piece has an opening here. And then that's where the wire can go up. At the top of this, where this meets and these guys are, maybe this piece has another edge to it. And that'll allow you to do some drip, grimy stuff here, because it's pretty dirty in here, right? And then, yeah, that alone will help your wall a ton. And the transition to the other side, like this space here, let's say it's doing this. So those pieces you could do a lot with. You could extrude this piece in so that it goes up like this. So that's all open, like so, and then it turns around the corner. Then you can put giant pipes in here, maybe a smaller one here, And they're just like brackets or a box here with wires that go down that attaches to a box on the wall, and this is just a giant fan, and this is a fan. Because in these underground sewer systems or things like this, sometimes they want to just sometimes they want to get the circulation of air flowing to get everything out. Weezer, thanks for the host, man. So that type of stuff will be super important down the road. Get your fan on. Look at what I'm making. I'm not making anything phallic. This is not. We don't know what's going on. Yeah, that's probably enough for talking about this for now. Let's keep scrolling down. We got JS Morgan with some bricks. Some more bricks. Looking super cool. It definitely has a Battlefield 1 or Battlefield Bad Company feel to it, actually. Reminds me of Bad Company. The only thing I would say that feels strange about the pieces themselves is things like this edge here. Or, here, let me clear that so you can see it. This edge. I think it's just in the way that the masks are auto masking things. You have an overall moss pass on top. I think there's a more up-to-date picture, actually. Let's see if I can find that stuff. Yeah, going back to Corey's scene a little bit, on the ceiling, if he insets that piece and then he's got the pipes and stuff going on the top, he'll then have a different material on the ceiling, which really helps. Really helps with breaking up a surface so that it isn't all brick. Because you'll want some stone, you want some concrete, depending on like how old the sewer is. You'll want to add metal elements where possible, and you'll want to add tubing or wire so that you get like a rubber material, you'll get a metal material, and a stone material. So you have a broad range of roughness values. That really helps sell a scene and make it look interesting with as little effort as possible. Just having those three different materials will help a ton. Hi, I have no clue about 3D modeling or anything like this, but you're just fantastic. Thanks. You're chill and you're explaining really good. And just watching drawing this is really interesting. Thanks, man. Or dude man or dudette. Something. Thank you. Welcome to the Brick Club. Okay, so let's get back to this guy here. So yeah, it's mainly just double checking the edges in your masks, and you can do that just by previewing your masks in Substance Painter. I believe you're texturing this in Substance Painter. The only other thing I would say is where the moss is located at. Try and make some a bit more sense of it. Like, what I see is there's a lot of detail here. There's a lot of detail here. Lots here. We're going to get rid of that shape. Lots here. Lots of detail here. This area, actually, I'll use a different color. This area cuts in and then goes down like that. And then this area actually is kind of like a flat top. And then you get it again here. These flat top areas, totally the perfect spot to emphasize with moss. So you get moss up there, then you get some shape separation. Maybe the moss climbs up through this space a little bit. And then you get moss in little spots in here, but you add a pattern or like a way that the moss is operating. So like down here, it would be really mossy. And then maybe it trails up a bit into the crevices and then tapers off a bit. And then on the top areas, I think in some of your more recent images, in the top areas, you're doing a lot more moss, which is good. Because that helps you understand the shapes that you're looking at, because right now there's a lot of layers happening all at once. But yeah, I know there's a more recent one, so we'll make sure to look at that one. Okay, what is the Control Shift 3 and Control Shift 7? Why 7 and 3? Sure, why not? I must have done that. Okay, here. Josh actually saying exactly what I was just saying. That's funny. Face melt. Hey guys, here's my breakdown of the poly count challenge. Tried to separate it into unique pieces instead of materials. So poly count challenge is going on right now. I believe it goes for about a month. Doing this, separating out the assets, will help a ton, right? This piece back here, whoa, that's not the color we want to use. Let's use yellow. So this piece back here, yeah, I can draw. Just modeling one of these will get you pretty far, right? And then it's just a matter of making an element like this line here. Maybe this swings open, or maybe this piece slides up a little bit. Getting some variation in those, maybe adding like a red ball or some object inside that differentiates the two pieces. It's 2 months. Okay, cool. That differentiates the two pieces, or all these pieces, will help immensely. And it'll cut back on a lot of the work. Let's see what else we got here. Make sure to separate out your light sources, just because you're going to end up wanting to tweak those a lot. And then this material on the bottom here can most likely just be a texture. There's some really good Substance tutorials on making paneling and stuff like that. Substance Designer. Place a Coke in one of them. Yeah. Okay. Nesta. Shelter made some glasses. Pretty awesome, actually. So this one feels a little bent. I don't know, maybe it's like nerd glasses, hardcore nerd glasses. This is pretty cool though. What's this for? Does it say in the textures are just temporary order of creation. Go from middle, left, right, middle, right side, left side. What? It's a dance, guys. Middle, left, right, middle, right side, left side. I think that's how it goes. That's cool though. I look forward to more textures on glasses. Makeshift military communication posts. Any suggestions? I'd appreciate any help. Okay, so this is more Corey stuff. Let's see here. Okay, so first off, let's look at, so this prop right here is looking pretty cool. It feels like it's very mid-toned right now. Like it needs some highlight and wear and damage and stuff. Or stickers or little lights on it. The screen brightness and the emissive maybe should be turned up a bit. Other than that asset's looking pretty good. It needs some usage look to it. Perfect for Substance Painter to try some stuff out. You can actually, if you need to, take your low poly and input it into your high poly slot as well for when you do a bake. And I'm reading chat. You could put the high poly or your low poly mesh into the high poly slot and then bake out all of your other maps. And then use those maps to get your edge damage and chips and details and stuff like that. The box feels a little odd. So right now you have a texture for the top here where the tape's at. You could totally cut your geometry there and then take this flap here and curve it up a bit and then bring it back down. That way you have a shape change like that. So that let's see if I can, because like that silhouette will be pretty interesting. This curve here, this bow, you could do, but then leave this straight so that's it's more like a lid. And then this bowing happening here just feels a little off because it's all happening everywhere, and you see it a bit here as well. It just makes it look a little low poly, and we want to try and get away from, like, because of that bowing, I can see that these are all the same one. Whereas like if you curl that top, you can rotate it, and now the curl's over here, and maybe the curl's there. See what else, and then this black edge is odd. Maybe in your texture we just not have the dark edge there. And then think about how this grime kind of shows up. So it'll really soak into those corners. Like when you see a box that's been down in like a basement for a long time, the wetness goes up a corner just because there's so much more that can be saturated in here, and it just travels up the sides. So your dirtiness can go like this. It can stay a bit low and then climb up on one corner and then go down a bit more. It's like maybe the puddle was on the corner of that box. The green. Where can you find 3D modelers, artists interested in joining a project? I can't suggest any artists that will join a project for free. You could look on ArtStation because there's good ways to connect with artists there. I don't know if it's like if you're doing like a contract based thing or if it's like, or if you're hoping to score some artists to help you get some things going. Polycount might be good as well, but like Polycount and ArtStation are going to be pretty. You're going to be pretty picky about working for free. But yeah, those are places that I would suggest looking at if you want really good content. This server thing. So this server is pretty high poly. I really like the shapes and detail that you're going with on it. It's these buttons, like you could make a what is it? You could make a texture sheet that's got all of your normal maps on it, right? So like let's go here. So if we go, is this too small? No, we're good. Okay. So you could map your buttons as the normal maps in here, right? There's all your buttons. You could have like a screen mapped in here. You could have like bolts and panels and things like this that go down. Maybe there's some buttons here and another screen. You can get all of that on a texture sheet, bake the normals out for it, and then place it like a decal on the surface. That way you don't have to have all of this as geometry, and you don't have to unwrap to accommodate those. Because you'll want to do that with like, you'll want to do it with these, all these guys. You'll want to do it with these. The wire you would just have come out of the flat texture. This would be modeled. This would be modeled. These guys are modeled. This is modeled. Let's see what else we got here. And then you want to spend the time getting bevels on these in your normal map for that mesh. And then I think I saw in another picture, let's see here. I don't know where it's at. Maybe you post it later. Anyways, the mesh detail on here is quite high right now, and I would save Opaco. I will answer your question after this one for sure. But yeah, the details that are on this mesh, you could get away with a lot of them being normal map information, and you can keep the resolution if you're doing them on like a texture sheet for the normals. So you'd have a texture sheet for the normal map detail, and then you'd have an alpha channel in here that matches what you're seeing here, and then you're good to go. Like this would be a solid alpha. Each of these buttons would be an individual alpha, and then you could use that information to decal on top of your mesh. And if you're not sure what I mean by decal, there's a video called decal meshes. Let me make sure what it's called. Two seconds here. It's called Edge Decals in UE4. You would use the same shader to approach that. What's up, Root? How you doing? We're getting close to the end of the stream, but I'm going to get through all of your guys' work in progress stuff before I end it. But yeah, do that stuff. So Opaco, a high poly mesh is something like, where are we at? Is there really, did I really close? So this is the low poly mesh, right? With baked normal map information on it. If I scroll down here, wait, where are we at here? Scroll down here, wireframe. You can see that the detail of the mesh is quite low, but all the information that's making it look higher resolution, and you can see when the lighting affects it, that's a normal map. A normal map is baked normal information from the surface of a higher detailed version being transferred to a texture onto a lower poly version. If you're wondering what a normal is so let's say that this is a polygon, right? A single quad, 4 verts, ignore that edge there, 4 verts, 4 edges, a polygon, or 2 triangles. And each polygon has a normal direction. And that's the direction, like if this polygon is facing directly at you, it will be shiny like this, or reflective, depending on the material. But where highlights happen, those are polys or normals that are facing right at you. So if you have a quad or a mesh that's really high res and you curve it like this, now you have normals going out like this. So it looks round. It looks rounded. You can bake that information onto here, and even though it's a single quad, you can force the look of this through a normal map. But yeah, hopefully that clears that up for you. Only normal maps. There are still some studios that use bump maps. It's really dependent on what's happening, but yeah. The other thing I would say, Corey, is your scene right now is really dark. I would suggest getting your spotlights and turning them up by like 2 or 3 times just to see some detail going on. We got Andrew making some awesome mesh work. What I was saying earlier is these bevels here, where they join together, maybe need to be this wide or this wide. Right now they're that wide. So like it's super tight edged. So it feels a bit off. And then I think this face, is it going down as it enters as it meets up with this? Is that going down? Because that feels very odd as well. Or to have this angle versus this angle. It feels like these two angles normally in industrial design will tend to be the same shape. Or angle, I mean. Someone always has to keep it traditional. Yeah. Dude, I worked at a studio once that would not use normal maps. It was like around the time that was they were transitioning, the industry was transitioning to normal maps, and that just wasn't in their pipeline. They just didn't want to build it in because they want to get the game done. So I just went and was like, well, let's put normal maps, because it was all light maps, right? So let's put normal maps in the light map bake. So at bake time of light maps, they would have normals, and yeah, because there's no time of day shifting, none of that stuff. So it's like, just put it in there, and it looks much better. So Guy Virus, not sure if I posted this with vegetation before. Oh, right. I don't believe you did post it with vegetation before. So this is looking super cool. If you're planning on showing it from this angle, we should really start getting some separation happening in your surfaces. So like down here, you're getting a shadow, but maybe some like water runoff that maybe is dried, or just so it's a little darker there. Darkening under this edge would help a lot. Where these beams meet, getting something happening around those would be really good. And then where your stairs are is just putting something at the bottom edge of them, whether it be like a dirty, grimy stuff or just something to help separate it out. It's more about like trying to separate your shapes, that way you can see them more. The only other thing I would say is maybe the green of the plants, play with that a bit, see if you can make it. Merciful Bandit, what's up, man? Yeah, this scene is looking super cool though. I would just concentrate on calling out your materials separate of each other. Like, is this stuff up here, is this wood or is it stone? Is this door made of stone? The color of the foliage maybe should be more green or sticking out just a little bit more. Maybe darkening the bases of these as they go down to meet the ground, just so they're grounded a bit more. Because right now everything feels a little bit like it's floating, but in general the scene is feeling pretty nice. It's feeling real good. Let's see what else we can... I think that's all I would say for now. It's looking pretty cool. Just getting some material separation will be good. Okay, what is next? So we got Melt making a table. So he had said that he made this without reference, and the reason I was saying to use reference, Melt, is this curve feels really weird to me, and I think looking at reference, that'll help you clear that up, because I think you want to do something more like you need a base to this, and the flow of it right now feels like geometry that is being bent and then softened, and then it looks like you've got some UV issues here, which I'm guessing you grabbed this and then extruded it out, and then you got those edges, or you grabbed the edge there and brought it in. Just cleaning that up. Maybe lessening the strength of the normal. And then the base, like how this all interconnects is okay here. But then it softens out right at the end. It like needs to have like a little bit of a lip to the base That way you have a visual like stopping point to the design. But yeah, design wise, wood being bent like that is, it just doesn't feel like, we don't do that very often. And when we do, there's a more common shape to like how everyone does it. So looking at reference will help you clear all of that stuff up. What is next? Oh yeah, here's the moss update. So this is stronger. You're getting a bit of moss here that feels odd, but I really like it being on the top and then having a little bit more of a, like, this is cool too. Having a bit more of a description or nature to how the moss is covering the asset. Like, that's super cool. Dude, you get grass like breaking up the bottom edge here, like different heights and stuff like that. It's gonna be super cool. It's gonna look like, it's really gonna help you ground some stuff. Like, I would suggest maybe making a small cluster of stones that you can angle sideways and just like push into the ground, and then cover up with grass, just so you have a few stones around the ground, explaining where all these missing pieces went, and just covering that all up with grass would be pretty good, especially if you start building paths inside of these. Like, the sides here can be higher than the path in the middle, and like the path in the middle could curve down a little bit. Grass in this area could be a little bit shorter, but still there because it's overgrown and old, right? And then grass here can just cover up the transition into the ground. And then I would expect maybe a little bit of a grass starting to form on the tops of these. And this pen, Epic pen, is awesome. It has its weird quirks and stuff, but it's really good. It's super cool. The scene's looking cool. I know you're just experimenting with the shader stuff, but it's nice. This is a nice breakup too. Instead of just stone, like, I would suggest maybe getting some of that dirt stuff going on here. And then, because this overhangs, might be a good opportunity to hang some stuff off of it. Anyway, cool. Dopeness. Let's look at some other stuff here. One could say it's epic. Simp, this is, your violin is looking super good. If I had to say anything, maybe the edges up here, depending on if you look at your reference and it's following your reference. Awesome, Morgan. Awesome. This edge stuff here might be, like, this one's okay. Leave that one alone. The other ones might be a little too tight. I'm feeling it a little bit here as well. And here. But like, all this stuff feels super nice. This feels good. This might be a little tight. These could probably either go in further or just could be completely cut out. Because, right, those are actually supposed to be cut out of a violin, if I remember correctly. Pinion, what's going on, man? How you doing? Matt making another sick car. I heart Engons. Very cool. Dude, I love how there's a little bit of red there. So the tires really confused me, but now I've looked into it, I've read up on it, and I understand, and it looks good. Looks good. This cut in here feels really nice. I don't know if it's too close to this spot or not. It could be, could not be. It feels really tight there though. But the transition to this, super nice. This looks cool. Love it. Baby on board. Keeping it Matto. The front is looking really cool, at least from this angle. Nice. Little break action going on in there. Man, it has really dropped, isn't it? You got some, like, what is that space there, and then that space there. So good. Let's build, dude. Let's build. I actually don't know if he's... I don't think he's doing sub D on this. I could be wrong. Need to see a wire. We'll see if wireframe. I will say that Matt is notorious for making his stuff look really good with very minimal geometry and just selling it using the bevel, the round edge shader. Design wise, it's looking really cool though. I would just make sure that areas are thick enough. They may be fine. Looking super hot, man. Okay, more. I need more. Okay, we've got the low poly and bake of the grenade. Low poly looks really good. I don't know if you need this this loop here, but it's fine. I'm not sure why it's there, but whatevs. Looks awesome. Bake looks really good. Yeah, bake looks really good. I'll be curious to see how your normals turn out. These details, be super careful with these. They're really tight, so it's like they'll alias really quickly and you'll get a little bit of a flicker. But overall, this bake is pretty solid. Let me see if I can find the back of Matt's car. Scrolling. Scrolling. Dang, where the heck is it? Oh man, I'm scrolling way too much. Okay, I gotta get back to the other stuff. But yeah, the backside of his vehicle is freaking sick. Okay, where are we at? Oh my god, there's so many things you guys have been posting. Okay, this shot looks pretty good. I'm gonna speed it up, so I apologize. The way the moss is propagating on the bricks on this side are really good. This stuff is awesome. Maybe get some creeping of moss on the top here, and then you're good to go on that. Compositionally, this is starting to look pretty cool, and building a little bit of a path in the middle here is going to look really nice. That grenade was made by Elkanah H, if I'm saying that correctly. We've got Melt making a well, it looks like. This looks pretty good. I would vary up the heights on these. Oh man, blue, not visible. Vary up the heights just a little bit. That way there's a bit of a break up and change. And then the bevel here needs to be wider because you can see it's aliasing already. Just doosh, doosh, doosh. Maybe try and do something more interesting with the shape on top here. Like maybe curve curve the end points up, or maybe have the last one go down a little bit, just so there's more design to the, and then again breaking up this edge like this would be good. Maybe curving it a bit too, so it's kind of it's sagging a little. Getting that modeling down though. Build a thing that goes across and then has like a handle and some stuff going on like this, and then maybe a bucket, or if you don't want a bucket, just go straight down. Be nice. Tell a story. Give us a story. Offset the shingles. Yeah, just breaking up those patterns. Hangover guy with his material looks good. Looks really good. What is it? I was looking at this as reference. Okay, again, need to be reading. Yeah, so when you're looking at this as reference, you can see that in the put Jimmy inside the well. You can see this crack stuff is really good. There's different shapes going on here, and you have a lot of that happening in yours, which is good. The height difference on these guys is really nice, and I think later root. The height difference is really good. I don't know if the scorpion person is here. Person who made the scorpion, please stand up. But the bricks that are up and down is really nice to have height variation. You have to be careful with it because it becomes very tiley really fast. But I'm sure there's ways of getting around that, like propping on top of it or blending to a different texture. You could totally make two stone textures, one where it's really difference in height, and then some where it's pretty smooth, and then you can just vertex blend between the two. All right, we got here. What is this? What are we looking at? Null making some textures. Watch out for what is happening here? Oh, I see. Really make sure you clean those up. If you're going to use like the window frames and stuff, clean up your alpha and get that stuff removed, because that'll help you in the long run. I would just model all that stuff out. Don't even worry about, like, model all of that. And then like the wood planks that are covering up the windows, I think that's what you're doing. You can just make an actual like piece of wood and just like map a tileable of that material, and then just place those behind the windows. Like, it'll help you a whole lot more, and you'll get a lot of learning done with modeling and such. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Oh dude, I'm excited, because there's a lot of early development stuff that we can talk about with you to like best utilize, because this is how I actually started 3D, was in that sense. Dude, you're even getting the stuff in the Source Engine? That's awesome. You ambitious, son. Anyways, we will talk more about, I think I want to do a video on like some more of the basic aspects of like what you should be modeling versus texturing, and how you should think about textures. Insomniac, I would not hesitate to continue to post work in the work in progress thread and just listen to what people say and suggest, because you will learn a ton, I think, in our Discord. I look forward to seeing more. Super cool. This brick looks pretty good. This brick is from Joshua Dolman. I would say the bricks might be a little too tall unless the reference that you're looking at is the same. My man, Source Engine. The bricks might be a bit too tall, or maybe they just need to be wider. And then having a bit more variation in not the value, but the color. So maybe some that are a little less red, and maybe some that are a little bit more red. Definitely look at reference. Oh, my stomach. Dude, it's just gargling. Like that. Read, thinking of having this as my next project, a shot from Star Wars Planet Tatooine. The original image has a few more characters. Remove this since I'm not a character guy. It's missing a focal point at the moment. Was thinking of having a droid like R2-D2 or R5-D4 in the middle left. Look at the original image below for placement. Okay, so got this image. Let's clear that. Cool. So I would go super Star Wars on this, man. I'm just gonna spitball this, and you can do whatever you want. Looks complex. It's not bad. You make one of these houses. Houses are done. You can take that same house, duplicate it, and just put it behind a giant box of a building. You can just duplicate it twice. You get that there. This building can just be rotated. You can add a wall system here. You can use that building like, I don't know, 9, 10 times. Then you just have this piece, the wall here, some weird mechanical looking structure stuff there, some pipes, and this piece, which I think is basically these two. You can build one of these and make it modular and then rust one and then unrust the other, so one's new and one's old. Anyways, my idea. Look up at the sky. Look at the two, I think it's 2 suns, right? Because there's 2 in here, but I think there's only 2 suns. Look at the 2 suns. Look down, and super challenge, man. Particles of like sand blowing, which explains why no one's outside, because maybe there's a sandstorm going by. Pans down, focuses on this doorway, and then you have R2 roll out and then turn and look at the camera and all the little lights and the screw pieces moving. Fade to black, done. Guaranteed job. You will get a job from that one. And you just put Star Wars music on the back of that, and you're just like, everyone would be nerding out. You'd just be freaking out. It's a cool scene though. Instagrate. Instagrator. Your gun looks pretty cool. Man, you're going all out on like actually modeling out all the pieces. Might be a bit early to tell. It's looking good though. It's looking really good. Let's see here. When you start doing your polish work, make sure you're beveling your edges so that they smooth and round out really nice. Yeah, it's a little early to tell on this. It's looking cool though. We're like way over on time. Got some explaining to do. Crit me, Jared. Lighting and material direction in particular. All right, Ben. You got it. So lighting and material direction. So let's look at material first. So good stuff. This stuff is good. Feels nice. Maybe a gradient at the base for just some difference in color. This material looks good. Could probably benefit a bit from like some soft lightening on the material itself. Not finite like this, like soft, like very, very soft. Overall, the materials look pretty good. I would really like to see that look a bit more metal, like a metallic surface. Let me think here. Though you might be trying to fit the style, and in that case, it looks like you're nailing everything right now. As far as lighting goes, maybe a strong rim light from behind so that you get a nice edge there. Bit of an edge going on there. A little bit of an edge here. That way you can see the fidelity of your geometry. I think an edge highlight will go a long way for this stuff. Let's switch to yellow for these guys. So rim lighting. Look into some rim lighting. But I mean, you're following the game's visuals very, very closely, so I don't know if there's much I can... I think gradients are going to be your friend in your albedos. Like, you're getting a bit of darkening down here, which is nice. If there was maybe a bit of darkening on these guys, just in the distance, subtle, like it's almost already ending in the gradient when it comes over the edge. Maybe some discoloration in or splotchiness in value here that's larger and nondescript, like just kind of value shifting. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can say on this. Maybe add some more contrast. So the reason I'm not saying anything about the contrast yet is I need the ground material in. And then I need to see it next to the screenshot they're using as reference. That way I can get an idea of like what you're trying to shoot for. But yeah, right, like that game doesn't really have much contrast in the elements that are in the foreground. So I'm reserving myself for now on those comments. Bumby, stuff's looking cool, man. Yeah, hopefully, Fernell, that shit up. Hopefully this is looking good to you, because I have no idea what the inside of this stuff looks like. Maybe I should look up some reference stuff. The shape feels very strange to me. And it looks like you're modeling this in Max, maybe? Maybe it's Maya. I don't know. But if it, either way, render it in Mental Ray with round shader. It just will look much better in helping us see the shapes that you're building. Looking cool though. There's lots of stuff going on in here. I need to look at some reference. Don't hesitate to post reference work with these images. With this one too. Dude, that's so intense. So that looks like it's a pad for your head. Make sure that that's got some ripples in it so that it's in Maya. Cool. Yeah, make sure there's a bit of ripples in it so that we know that it's a soft material that you're supposed to rest your head on. This is cool. Your details might be a little narrow, but I don't know. Is this in VR, right? Is this VR stuff? So those details might be just the right size, because in VR those details could blow up for you automatically. It's weird rules that happen with VR. I still don't understand it fully. All right, that looks like it is it. I need to get out of here. I will post these videos up, and they will be without timestamps. I'll just get the name and the image out on top of the video so that we can get those to you guys as soon as possible. And yeah. All right, I gotta get out of here, guys. I will check you guys later. Looking cool, guys. You guys are posting a lot of stuff. I'm gonna have to start like limiting how many things I can go through. Oh, and a new thing that so I think I'm going to just deal with the hard drive stuff myself for buying. So this donation stuff down here. And I think money is going to go towards, donation money is going to go towards buying kits in Unreal of assets, and then maybe like once a month or something, we'll use those kits and we'll just build a scene, and we'll talk about composition and lighting, and we'll just prop stuff and make it look cool. So you know where that stuff's going. I'll handle the hard drive myself. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I'm going to go and eat something, I think. This piano though, so good. All right, later guys. Oh, no wonder it's Haywire. You guys need to listen to that guy. Haywire. Wire like tire in the UK. Later.